all the different types of Kanban systems, Eric. All the different types of Kanban systems. So I just pulled up something here and I've got 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 different versions of Kanban. So Kanban is one word, but actually how you implement Kanban effectively can differ quite a lot depending on what the thing is that you're trying to replenish, the specifics of your situation. So Eric, you know a lot of these, right? You've got the one bin system, right? Just when the bin or the level, the tank or the level measurement instrument, the level detector reaches a certain point, it's a trigger point, yep. And you fill it. Min max, that's like called the one bin system or one container system. And you have the two container system where you have when the bin is empty, you bring in another bin that's full and you take the empty bin to get the bin filled again. This is often used with parts that are required, right? So parts arrive at a point in an assembly line in this way.
And a lot of those will be paired with water spiders too. And a lot of plants that do the two bin system, they're not going to rely on the on an individual operator to go and replenish the system. They'll go and have a water spider
you mentioned
distribute that second bin and collect.
You mentioned that in the last podcast, and I was going to pick you up on that because that's an American sort of phrase. Mm-hmm. And I remember using it like years ago, but I haven't in Europe. I don't think people are using it that much. So just tell us what you mean by the water spider, Eric.
So a water spider, people most often mistake this person with a material handler, and they're not. What they're doing is they're going, and you call them a water spider because if you think of one of those spiders that walks on the water, they're using the kind of the hydrostatic tension of the water to keep. So it's kind of the same idea. This person is kind of above the process, going around, and usually what differentiates them from a normal material handler is they're going to be balanced to takt time themselves. Where they're going, the Kanbans that they're replenishing, how often they're hitting them, that sort of thing is balanced to the process itself. So this person more often than not is going to be more skilled than the operators who are operating the equipment, which is again another thing that people misunderstand is that your material handler is an entry-level person. Right. Your water spider emphatically is not. Your water spider is an experienced person. Yeah.
Right.
And what they're doing essentially is
that's new. That's good. That's a good point. That's a very important point there.
They need to have a tremendous depth of process knowledge to do that job effectively, because they're the ones when things start to break, when the standard does start to degrade, are the ones who are keeping things running and helping to capture those issues and kind of distill them into basically into Kaizen, into hey, this broke down here, they stocked out or whatever, or I didn't replenish them for 4 hours because whatever. So they're the ones who are the sort of leading edge of what happens when or how things feel when the process starts to change. So they really need to be one of your more experienced individuals, because they're the ones who are going around and again making sure that your overall system is functioning effectively. And more often than not, what they're doing is they're the ones that are managing the Kanban. So you'll see them going around with carts, with bins in the carts, and replacing things out, filling the bins, and doing that all day long. And again, you might have one of them, a couple of them, and they're following, we call them, people have different names, milk routes or whatever. I just called it a bus route because whenever I've done
milk
them.
Run, yeah.
Yeah. My little thing was I always made, quote unquote bus stops. So I made like a specific visual that was like water spider comes here this often based on takt time. Again, it's just to make it a little bit visual,
nice.
And because we had kind of split value streams at a lot of my plants, we had different, bus lines. So we had like the green line, the blue line, the red line, and they went different places on different, intervals. Yeah. So that was,
it's not an obvious analogy between a spider floating on the water, but it's caught on. And so people in Asia or in parts of Europe that haven't heard this phrase water spider, they're probably getting a bit of a kick right now thinking, what is this crazy southern guy talking about? But it is used a lot.
Yeah, redneck talking about spiders.
I agree. I remember using it in the States.